Social Security regulations, which I think have the force of law. Donald Trump made her. I mean, what kind of ingratitude is this?
Joining me right now is former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee with his reaction to things. Governor, what do you think?
Well, my first reaction was that has to be the most gentle let go that a U.S. military general has ever given anyone. That may be the headline here. You know, General John Kelly was incredibly gracious. He was trying to let her go easily. From all indications, it was a matter of time. She had to go. She wasn't producing. She was creating enormous trouble. Interestingly, though, she was saying wonderful things about Donald Trump throughout the campaign, throughout her first time and her year or so in office, up until she got fired. Then she gets fired. She waits till the book comes out. Now she can't say anything nice. It's all bad. So here's the question. Which time was she lying? Was she lying then, or was she lying now, or was she lying both times? The one thing we've established, she's a liar, can't be trusted, and I don't know why in the world anybody would give her a media interview and pretend that she has something credible to say. She doesn't.
Yeah.
In fact, if anything, her book title, Unhinged, it sounds like an autobiography.
Well, she definitely is not exactly breathing credibility there, but I don't know if she ever has. I mean, she took on the role of sort of the greatest villain, right, in reality television, Governor. And then it was a role that she, I guess, continued to play there in the White House and continues to play now that she's out of the White House. But why was she ever there to begin with?
I think it was a matter of President Trump, then candidate Trump, sort of feeling like, hey, you know, she's been with me a long time and I'll give her something to do, even though from all indication there wasn't a whole lot that there was ever found for her to do that she could do competently. And that was part of the problem. So you could blame the president on this one and say he should never have hired her. There should have been a better vetting process. Those are fair criticisms, and I'll be the first to admit that. But her betrayal, her sense of complete dishonesty and disloyalty is appalling. The only thing that it is equal by is the fact that the very people in the media who had nothing but contempt for her before she started trashing Trump, now they just are eating her with a spoon. They can't get enough of her. And I just find that absolutely revealing about the real motives of some of the media people.
Well, what a gal and what an industry, right? Let me ask you about Peter Strzok. He's finally fired from the FBI. I mean, I just don't know why this didn't happen ages ago. But, you know, the president's out tweeting, Agent Peter Strzok was just fired from the FBI. Finally, the list of bad players in the FBI and DOJ gets longer and longer based on the fact that Strzok was in charge of the witch hunt, which it dropped. It is a total hoax, no collusion, no obstruction. I just fight back, exclamation point. You know, what do you think of Peter Strzok finally being shown the door?
A couple of observations. One, I agree with you. It's about time. This should have happened a long time ago. And the question is, will he really be held accountable? Firing is one thing, but when they find out that this person actively used the power of the federal government to try to upend an election and to delegitimize an election, will he be held legally accountable? The second thought is this. We may see a great improvement in our national debt because just no longer having to pay his cell phone bill with the tens of thousands of texts may balance the federal budget.
You know, if Mueller, though, let me just ask you, if Mueller really wanted to be conducting what I would consider a fair investigation, shouldn't he be looking into the likes of Peter Strzok as well and just exactly what was motivating Peter Strzok? And I keep going back to how on earth it is that we could have used a phony dossier created by a British spy who had a bunch of contacts over in Russia. He didn't even go meet with them. That, by the way, Putin very well could have said, hey, feed them whatever you want. We know that this is going back to Hillary Clinton and her team and Bob Orr and Fusion GPS, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it was all so darn incestuous. I don't know how you base getting a FISA warrant on something without even telling the judge the sourcing of the document itself. Is that going to be looked into?
It really does. And if Bob Mueller does not do an investigation into Peter Strzok and Lisa Page and Bruce Orr and Nellie Orr and Andrew McCabe and Rod Rosenstein and Chris Steele and all of the people from Hillary's campaign who paid $9 million to get that dossier, if it doesn't include that, then everything the president has said about it being a witch hunt is not just true, it's superlatively true. And I'm afraid that's what we're seeing.
Gosh. All right, Governor Huckabee, thank you very much. It's good to see you today.